Benson Boonerall. Welcome to Lost All Caps.
No. Don't even say his name. I hate him.
But we were making each other laugh the other day by doing Benson Boone bits.
Out there somewhere is an editor who can give us some Boonbeam ice cream. But I despise that song.
Moonbeam ice cream, crash on Oceanic 815.
That was pretty good, actually.
Thank
Did you prepare that in advance?
No! That was my crazy good improvisational skills as a comedian. Welcome to Lost All Caps, I'm Ariel.
And I'm Velvet.
Holy shit, it's been ages since we've recorded.
Yeah.
And 1 million things have happened. We've been so busy doing so much and preparing for the Lost All Caps live show. Yeah. Today's very exciting because the tripods have arrived.
Yeah.
We were like, to film the podcast, we usually just like prop our phones up on a bunch of like books and
on like the dining room chairs and then like on top of some like boxes of food, like
random
cereal.
Bullshit we can find in the kitchen, and then we were like, wait, we're gonna have to go to a public place.
We can't bring all of our boxes of cereal to Complex.
Unless they were Dharma Initiative branded, I don't think it would work. So
and we don't really have time for that.
Yeah. We've got the professional setup now, so I'm sure you've noticed the difference in video quality.
I'm sure.
For today.
Sure.
Be sure to check out the very exciting tripods when you come to the Lost All Caps live show on the 30th of May, very soon.
Very soon.
Very soon.
Really excited. Are you excited?
So excited.
It's going to be really good fun.
Oh my gosh. Honestly.
It's so soon, but it also feels so far away. Because I'm like, so much is going to happen in between now and the 30th of May. I can't even think.
Oh, I thought you meant in Lost.
In Lost and in my life.
It's crazy at this point because if you're a first-time viewer, you might be thinking, but we've only got one episode after this episode before the one that we're watching live. How can so much happen?
We do. You might be thinking, how much could change in one episode?
Oh my god.
A lot.
A lot. But we won't get into that right now.
Those clued in will know.
We've got a whole 5 hours, I assume, next week to unpack that because we're going to be talking about that one a lot. This one's a great episode though. But before we get into that, let's talk about the million things that are happening to us. I have 2 podcast related things.
Go on.
Obviously, we've just been busy with like working gigs and all of that normal stuff. But 2 podcast related things. Number 1, since we last recorded, I've now listened to the entirety of Star Trek Khan, the audio drama with Naveen Andrews voicing Khan.
Yes, I remember this.
It's amazing. Guys, go listen to it, especially if you're a Star Trek fan. I mean, if you're not a Star Trek fan, you probably won't. It's very it's kind of like fanfic. I was Googling it. Apparently, it was originally based on a book that was like a kind of fan novel.
Okay.
That's like
so it's like
the gaps.
non-canon.
But this is canon.
But it is canon.
The book wasn't canon, but this is apparently. But Khan shows up in the original series, and then he shows up in one of the movies, which is like 20 years later or something like that, and it's like filling the gap of what happened to him in that time.
That's fun.
It's really cool, and Naveen Andrews is absolutely fantastic in it.
Does anybody yell, Khan?
Khan! Oh yeah. Because he's like, I know you don't know much about him other than Khan, but he's like the leader of this group of people who kind of follow him almost fanatically, a bit like a cult. And so like whenever he's riling up the troops, they'll all be like, Khan, Khan, Khan.
That's funny.
But honestly, like, look at Saeed in this show. Like, that man is born to say Trek no babble. Like, he is born to be making up words like dilithium crystals and like, self-sealing stem bolts. He is born for that shit.
Melchick with the Ennies at the outback.
Exactly. So it's great. He's great in it. Number 2 other podcast related thing. At work, they've added into the rotation of songs that play Somewhere Beyond the Sea. And so I have to listen to that song every single day. And every day I think about when we dissected the lyrics on this podcast and we found out that it ends with "So long sailing, a bye-bye sailing." No more sailing, so long sailing, a bye-bye sailing. Think about that every day.
Well, that's why I hate Benson Boone so much, because Moonbeam Ice Cream is on my work playlist. Well, we've had the old work playlist was really lame, right? Like, it was really old music that sucked. And then I was talking to the box office manager one day, and I was like, "This music is awful." And also the playlist is only like 40 minutes long, and so when you're there for like 10 hours, oh my god, it drives you crazy.
So they were like, let's put on some young person music for the young people.
So the box office manager, who is quite a lot younger than the rest of the managers, she found this playlist that's called like family friendly pop or something,
kids pop,
and was like, "We're allowed to play this because it's like, obviously it has to be family friendly because it's like kids come in and stuff." And it's like clean versions of like music, but it's like stuff like, Sabrina Carpenter, and I'm like, I don't know how clean you can make it's really like whiplashy, because it will be like Hosier and then like, I don't know, Olivia Rodrigo straight after, and then Moonbeam Ice Cream, and I got so mad. I heard it like 3 times in one shift, and I just was like, to the manager, was just like, please take it off the playlist. I hate it so much, and I cannot have it ruining my workplace. And then for the rest of the shift, every time I walk past her, she starts singing at me, and I'd be like, "I'm not joking, take it off the playlist." And now, you know what? I haven't heard it since, so I genuinely think she took it off the playlist because I complained so much. Oh, so like, this is where bitching and moaning can get you guys. You can still win. 90% of complainers quit before they get the thing that they've been complaining about. Keep going.
Keep going.
Never back down from a challenge. I like saying never back down from a challenge about things that aren't challenges at all.
So today we're talking about S.O.S, episode 48 of our podcast. 48. Hey, that's
48.
Fun. 48. Moonbeam Ice Cream. So, it's a really fun one. I like this episode.
It's a very fun episode. It's one of those ones, it's kind of like, this episode, now hear me out.
Oh gosh, here we go.
Is almost, in terms of the overarching structure of the season, it's kind of like the season 2 equivalent of like Numbers. Now hear me out. Because
I hard disagree right now.
No, because it's like characters who you never expected you to see a backstory of.
Yeah.
And then like a backstory episode comes in and like confirms something super magical about the island.
Okay, I suppose it bears a resemblance in that respect. But I think the impact on the show as a whole,
well, obviously, yes,
and the sort of general tone of the episodes are very different.
Yes.
Essentially, this one is a filler episode, but I love it because it's a Rose and Bernard centric. Like,
it's amazing.
Isn't that so exciting? I love those guys.
I love them.
Although,
and like,
let me tell you one thing I am pissed off about that I noticed. In the credits, Sam Anderson and L. Scott Caldwell are in the guest starring.
It's their episode.
They're guest starring in their own goddamn episode. The cheek, the nerve, the gall, the goop.
That is kind of crazy. You couldn't change the credits for one episode?
Outrageous. In my opinion.
That is bad, actually. Because, like, who is... So many people in the starring weren't even in it, you know?
Exactly!
Naveen Andrews was in the starring.
Was
he in this episode? No. Claire had one line. Claire's back.
Hey.
Any episode where Claire speaks is an episode I want to see.
Like, yay! We're little Claire cheerleaders.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, and she seems to be hanging out.
Yeah. I really love the collection of people that Bernard gathers.
Yeah.
It's so good. Because we've got Claire, Jin and Sun, Hurley and Rose, and then a bunch of random extras, right, who we've never even heard mentioned before. Like, it's not like it's Steve or Are there any others that we have had reference to? I don't think so.
We don't see Rash Guy.
We
don't see Beth, who points.
Oh, yeah. No, none of them. I wrote down their names. Jenkins, Craig, and Neil, who they call Frogut, because he used to sell Frogut.
Frozen yogurt.
Yeah, which, as British people, still not entirely sure what that is.
No, I have genuinely no idea.
Took me a long time to realise that Froyo, same thing as frozen yogurt.
Well, also, it's not frozen yogurt, though.
No, it's not. It's just ice cream, isn't it?
It's like ice cream with less sugar in or something. It's like healthy ice cream.
Maybe it's like ice cream that's like made with moonbeams, and then that's how it turns into frozen yogurt and not ice cream.
Keep doing this. I will launch across the table at you. But because I've had frozen yogurt before.
Have you?
Yeah.
I don't think you could get it over here.
Well, no, they were Froobs that had been put in the freezer.
Well, that's not.
No, but that's my point.
Oh, you've had literal frozen yogurt before.
Is that that's not what Froyo is?
Yeah. A Froob, in case anyone doesn't know, is how would you even describe it? Yogurt.
It's like a plastic tube.
In a little sort of, imagine a really, really thin sandwich bag.
Yeah, like a crisp packet that's so narrow. And then it's
Freezy Pops, but I don't know if those are available widely as well, or if that's just a sort of...
I think Freezy Pops are a
working class British
that might not
thing.
be what they're called in America.
If you... It was like school sports day in primary school.
And you get like a tubey...
Like a sort of tube, like a pepperami thing. Again, I don't know if
Pepperami's on and you're not getting through to anyone. Essentially...
Like a really thin... Yeah.
And it's really artificial tasting, ice lolly. But a Froob is then you take off the top and it's got yogurt inside.
Yeah. And they've always got an animal fact on them.
Well, those are but that's not the Froob brand. The Froob brand has a silly face on it.
Oh, I thought they had animal facts on them.
Those are the
ones that we got as children in our lunch boxes.
Because I remember that the ad campaign for Froobs when we were kids was some horrible shit rip off their head and suck out their guts.
Oh yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Because they were trying to make yogurt cool to little boys, I guess. Was the motivation?
That's really, I completely forgot about that, but it used to be, yeah. There were lots of weird sort of adverts like that. I don't know if we've just grown up or if adverts have become more tame, but I don't really see that nowadays.
A lot of adverts for kids' food are weirdly violent.
It's yeah.
I guess it's because everything's anthropomorphized, but then you have to eat it. But cheese strings had faces.
Yeah.
A lot of crisps were animal shapes, and then the adverts would be about them begging for help while you ate them.
Or eating each other.
Yeah.
Pepperami had a whole arc. He had a whole character.
He did.
He had a motivation. He had a wife and kids at home. He was insane. He was just he would just set on fire and destroy things, I think.
Yeah.
We never ate pepperomis as well because it's meat.
Obviously, yeah. So
it's just a tube of meat. I still don't really know what a pepperami is. A tube of meat that is very angry and his head is set on fire frequently. And
smells.
And he sort of runs around the kitchen.
I hope pepperami fans of among our listeners don't mind me saying smells fucking awful.
Awful. Yeah, I remember
the smell of a pepperami. It's just the memory of being in a school hall eating lunch at primary school.
No.
And I do not have good memories of any of that.
Imagine a tube of meat that's been sat in a sweaty lunchbox all day.
Processed, it's shrink wrapped in plastic.
Why were people feeding that to their children?
I mean, it doesn't seem healthy.
Just trying to get my protein goal. My little meat snack.
Yeah.
Anyway, how did we get onto pepperoni?
From Froobs, but what's frozen yogurt?
Yeah, so what's frozen yogurt? Please write in, guys. We don't know. Is it just ice cream? Is it halfway between ice cream and sorbet? More icy ice cream?
Well, presumably it's halfway between yogurt and ice cream.
Well,
it's soft serve, I think.
So Mr. Whippy?
Yeah, but yogurt.
Sounds bad. Sorry.
No, but it's good, is my understanding from popular media.
See, I think I'm thinking of like a snow cone or a slushie or something.
No, I don't think it's like
It's
that.
not like that?
I think it's like, yeah, like Mr. Whippy ice cream, but like it's made of
Well, that would make sense if he's like, if Frogut is like the Frogut guy because he sells Frogut.
Yeah.
So that's like a guy in an ice cream van.
Like an ice cream man type vibe.
That's a job in the UK.
think.
Anyway.
But anyway, what I liked about the scene is that Bernard and Hurley knew all the extras' names.
Yeah. It's really nice because, like, you know, we have our main characters, and of course they only really have plot lines with each other. But people like Rose and Bernard are, like, on the outskirts of that and only kind of interact sometimes with our main characters. And so it makes sense that they would be closer friends with all of the people who we don't see.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know? Makes perfect sense.
It's especially nice, I think, with Bernard, because it's like, you know, he very pointedly brings up a lot in this episode, how things were with the tail section.
Yeah.
And how they were trying to survive all this time, but it's like he's managed to, like, learn people's names and, like, befriend people in the, like, time since getting back, which, like, realistically not that long, right?
Yeah. Do you want me to work out how long?
Well, I was just thinking about it. I mean, but 2 days have passed between last episode and this episode. I remember that because Henry Gale hasn't eaten in 2 days.
Yes. And we know he ate that cereal.
Mm-hmm.
They all got back in collision, didn't they?
Yeah.
So that would be day 49, because Shannon gets shot on day 48.
Yeah, or in the other 48 days.
Where are we now? 2 months in, I think he said. Did he say they've spent 2 months in?
I mean, it's maybe a week, 10 days, something like that he's been back for, I reckon.
Yeah.
But I guess also, like, there's an element of, like, you know, Bernard doesn't know who the main characters are.
No, of course
He's
not.
coming into the situation, he makes friends with everyone.
Mm.
He's just that kind of guy.
What a guy.
And his plan, now let's evaluate his plan from an objective perspective.
Yeah.
I liked objective perspective.
That was good.
Because, like, obviously we understand at the end of the episode why Rose was against the idea.
Yeah.
But, like, I don't think it's a bad idea, fundamentally.
No.
And it brings in something that, like, by this point in the story, the characters often forget, like, that they want to go home because they get preoccupied with the stuff happening on the island.
Yeah. And we do too, as audience members.
Absolutely. And also, like, as audience members, we don't really want them to get rescued, do we? Because then there's no more show.
Stay. Figure out the mysteries, you know. But I think, yeah, it's a really good sort of, like, point in the series to tack it back to the beginning.
Yeah.
I think it's really cleverly done.
Bringing in those, like, airport flashbacks.
Yeah.
Like, it was just the one, but, like, it's so good.
Yeah, it's really sort of like...
Not only is it
poignant.
powerful as a scene, but, like, having us remember the airport. And it's back to the root of, like, why were you in Australia?
Mm.
Which is something we've all completely abandoned.
Yeah.
Abandoned?
Pun.
Unintentional.
Reference. Yeah. Which is great, you know? And I think it's really smart for it to be, like, right after the plane has dropped the food, because it's like everyone's focused on the food and the fact that we've now got a bunch of food.
And also, like, the symbolic significance of the food, like in Dave, like, it's about Hurley and his personal journey, and we've all kind of forgotten about the fact that it means a plane flew over the island.
Yeah, and it's all about the hatch and what's going on with the Dharma Initiative, and that's what we're interested in. But I reckon someone in the writer's room went, hang on a second, if we're going to have food land on the island, that means a plane's going to have to go past. How would nobody have noticed that?
Yeah.
And so they then wrote this plot line of Bernard being like, hello, a plane went over, let's get us the fuck out of here. So yeah, I think it's really clever. And it also gives us an indication as well, because, like, you know, I've certainly, I have had this, like, theory floating around that the island is, like, isolated. And, you know, like, they can't be rescued because no one's out there looking for, like, they can't be found because it's like, you know, Rousseau was never found. The raft didn't get very far.
It's like a Bermuda Triangle type thing. Like, things disappear in there and then never get seen again.
And it's kind of like, you know, like the hot air balloon has crashed, the plane has crashed, and the Nigerian plane crashed there. Like, everything that flies over sort of gets drawn into it almost.
Yeah, and this is the first time we've heard of something that's flown over and survived.
Yeah, which is huge. And also lets us know that the real world is still out there. And somehow, some plane has found the island, but not seen any of the survivors.
And also, not only that a plane has found the island, but that this means the Dharma Initiative is still a thing.
Yeah.
I don't think we appreciate that enough as a concept.
I know.
Like, the fact, because it's all really, like, 70s.
Yeah.
You know, and, like, the video is really old. You know, it's obviously, like, an old film. And, like, it's all, the aesthetic of it is really, like, you know, sort of retro. But, like, actually, somebody made that food. That food is new. The Dharma Initiative is still out there somewhere in the real world and has been there for all this time, all these flashbacks we've seen. The Dharma Initiative has existed.
Yeah. And that's even darker when you think about, well, why didn't they send the replacements for Desmond?
What happened?
Yeah. But they know where the island is. They could have sent people on that plane, couldn't they?
They could have sent people to check in.
Yeah.
Whatever, but, like, the buttons still get pushed and nothing's wrong.
Or is it all a psychological experiment? You can't have contact with the outside world. See, it always comes back to that.
Many such cases.
So yeah, I think it's a good plan to make the SOS sign. I really like that it's the title of the episode.
Yeah.
And we see it physically.
I love that zoom out at the end.
That shot is so beautiful.
Of, like, the abandoned...
Yeah.
It's like an abandoned hope of rescue, but in a really, like, optimistic way.
Yeah.
Which I think is a very nice way to frame it, you know? And especially around the sides of, like, you know, Henry is lying and trying to kill them, and, like, Jack and Kate going to, like, fight with the others and, like, this army, and then it's like, here we have people who are very happy to stay on the island, and almost, in a way, leads us back to Walt and Michael, because that's what, you know, Michael really wanted to escape and get Walt away, and then Walt actually says he wants to stay. Parallels.
Absolutely.
I did like at the beginning of this episode where it was like, hey guys, remember Walt?
Hey everyone.
Hey! You remember him?
You mean the bit when Jack says...
Yeah, with Jack and Henry. And
I know, I was like, oh, so
Walt.
suddenly Jack gives a fuck about Walt then.
Also, like, when... No, he did say, but he came in at the wrong time, remember?
Yeah. Listen, we've
man.
not forgotten about Walt.
Yeah, me neither. I'm trying to text him.
However, we are not going to actively do anything about trying to find him.
You're going to have to do that.
So, hope you're doing well.
That scene when he's like, if you try anything, we got a I was like, oh, you wish you were Saeed so bad. Dude.
I know!
He's so trying to, like, peacock in front of Ana Lucia and be like, no, we're going to have a problem. And it's like, you're not going to do shit.
Yeah.
Respectfully.
He doesn't rip that bandage off him,
He
though.
does.
That scene's really good. Again, Michael Emerson, he's so good. And, like, the way he's just staring and then flinching a little bit and stuff. And then the way he sort of he does that little snide little laugh. And he goes, they'll never give you Walt.
And this is
now,
like...
that's very interesting as a line.
Fantastic, because it's an admittance that he's lying. And that it hasn't all been true, you know. He could have kept it up. He could have come up with another story.
It's an admittance that he's been lying. It's an admittance that he is one of the others. It's an admittance that the others had a plan to kidnap Walt from the beginning. It's an admittance that he knows about that plan. It's an admittance that they know that they want Walt, and he knows that they want Walt, and they won't give him back.
Yeah. And it's like, it starts to lead you down the road of like, well... Henry, is he there, and it's all part of their plan? You know?
But then why would he reveal that? To stop them from trying to go out and find Walt?
Well, I guess it's like if he tells them that he came on purpose to see, you know, to speak to them, they're never going to trade back for Walt because he was sent out on purpose.
Oh, so it's less like the others don't want to give up Walt and more like Henry's not worth that much to them.
Yeah, because if he got sent out on purpose to go and like scout out for information or whatever it is he's doing there, why would they then trade him back? They'd be like, well, yeah, but he's where he's supposed to be because he was supposed to be with them.
That's interesting. That's an interesting dimension of the line. The line has many dimensions.
Many dimensions. But the one that I really like with Henry this episode is the later scene when John is banging on the door and being like, tell me, did you enter the numbers? And he just does that evil smile.
I've been waiting for that shot to come up.
I know. I kept being like, when is it? Is this when it is?
I was like, surely we've had it so far, right? Because it's such a memorable shot because it's so close to his face. Yeah. And especially on our DVD player that stretches it out. It's
really like, close in.
Wide Henry Gale.
But it's so good because it's like he's just... And like, obviously part of it is like, well, they can't see him. But it is like a complete dropping the mask, you know? It's like a dispensing with pretending to be like scared or whatever. And especially like, it feels like such an open manipulation of John, you know? Because especially last episode where it's like... And obviously we don't know to what degree any of that was real or fake or like on Henry's part.
When he was saying, I never pushed the numbers.
When he said he never entered the numbers, but also like the kind of friendship between them and the like, I'm gonna help you. Like that might have all been a front to be like, we're not so different, you and I. Or he might have genuinely wanted to help John. We don't know yet. But it feels like such a really obvious nod to being like, I'm just fucking with you. And I'm enjoying it.
Because I think Henry, he's a very interesting character in that it's like, when does he have the power? Has he had the power the whole time? Or has he been genuinely afraid? Like, I mean, Saeed nearly shot him, like, beat him to within an inch of his life, like, you know, but
he
like,
certainly didn't plan to get shot in the shoulder with that crossbow.
Exactly.
Surely.
And yeah, he's very interesting when you think about like, I've lost what I was gonna say.
But it's the kind of thing that like even now, watching it the third time through, I still don't know. I'm still not sure how much of it, and I think it's the kind of thing. What was it I was talking about last week? Was it last week? When I was talking about hesitancy. And I can't remember the name of it, and I know the name of it now. Where it's like, is it real, is it not real? And you maintain it right until the end. It was something I just learnt about in my film class. And I was talking about how you cut away, like you miss out shots to make things confusing.
Yes.
So this is actually weirdly a very good example of hesitancy in a way that's not really supernatural. Usually it's like ghosts and stuff. But with Henry, it's like right up until the end of the show, there's an argument either way. You know?
As to what his purpose was coming here.
Like somebody could really defend that it was all part of his plan, that everything was supposed to go like that he always had the power over them, and on the flip side you could completely defend that it was all a total mistake and it was not supposed to be like that at all, and that he was really scared for his life. And you can be, and most people fall somewhere in the middle. I don't think I know anyone who's like completely on the polar sides of it, but like it is so kept up in the air what his real intentions are and who he is as a character.
Totally.
So long.
And like the reason this smile is so interesting is because it's a private moment, you know, and he's not performing for anyone. So that's kind of like our only insight into his true psyche, his true like what he wants and what he enjoys, and it's John questioning the integrity of the button.
And it's really only the first time, because like we've had a couple of other shots of him just alone in the like cell, but it's always been very short, you know, literally enough time for him to be like looking at the door.
Yeah.
And then that's it. So this is like the first time you really get like a long, drawn out, where you actually get to see him, you know, emote in any way. When John's like, I want to talk to him. And then Lucia says, I wrote down the whole line because I thought it was really fun. The gun's with Jack, the door stays closed, but if you want to talk to him, talk to him.
Do you want to elaborate on why you think that's fun?
I just think it's it's like, because Ana Lucia's now been left in charge.
That's true.
Even though John is in charge of the hatch. And this is like, they all start calling it his hatch, and they're like,
yeah, but he doesn't like that.
It's your button, it's your hatch. And he's like, no. It's not.
Because he's anti-hatch, anti-computer at the minute, right?
Right now. But, like, it's become his, like, ownership. But, like, first of all, I think it's interesting that, like, in the absence of Jack, he asks Ana Lucia for permission. Like, he could have just walked up to the door and started talking to Henry. He still asks her for permission. This is the first time we've really seen Ana Lucia sort of get back some control.
She's almost like Henry's bodyguard at the minute, right? Not bodyguard, like prison guard, prison warden, right? Because, like, John has openly defied Jack's authority before, especially when it comes to Henry.
Yeah,
so, like,
many times.
Why is Ana Lucia has got the keys to his jail cell, metaphorically, right? So she's like, he doesn't defy her.
Yeah. And I just think it's the fact that she doesn't say no, but she also doesn't say yes, you know? It's like if Jack was there, he would be like, no, you're not going to go in and talk to him. And that would be the end of it. But it's like, you know, you're not going in there to see him because he's dangerous and I don't have a gun, but you can talk to him. And I just think it's like, I don't know. Especially with how authoritative and, like, aggressive Ana Lucia has been with her, you know, her leadership previously, to have her be a bit more like, well, you know, do what you want, but, like, I'm not opening the door. I just think it's interesting.
Yeah.
And she's not really been in it the last few episodes, so it's nice to see her sort of come back in this, like, strange middle ground role between them.
Yeah, totally. That is interesting. What was she doing, though, during that scene?
What was she? I don't know.
She had some kind of, like, wrench. And
Yeah!
was just, like, twisting something.
That's a good point.
My best guess is that she was adjusting the dumbbell things, because it looked like those dumbbells were behind her.
She's bench pressing.
So I think she's bench pressing, and she's like, I'm stronger than Desmond, okay, I need more weights. It was a good thing for her to be doing, you know, when like John walks in, and I really liked the shot of her, like, on the floor, and then it, like, panned around and up. To John. That was
cool. I love a bit of, like, levels as an indicator of authority, but actually she's got all the power, even though she's, like, kneeling on the floor. Like, she could have been sat at the table, but she's right on the floor. But John still has to, like, ask her for permission. I mean, I love that.
Yeah. And I just know that camera grip was squatting.
Oh, yeah.
Ready to get that shot, and your efforts are appreciated.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, no, I have no idea, really.
And where did she get a gun from? Did I miss that? Why has she got a gun? Did she take it off Saeed when he tried to shoot Henry?
Yes. I think so.
No, hang on, the balloon mission, because Charlie does that,
doesn't he? Sawyer gives Charlie the gun.
Yes.
And then Charlie gives it to Saeed.
And then the next episode, Saeed tries to shoot Henry, so I assume Ana Lucia takes it off Saeed.
Takes it off of him, because Jack will be like, Saeed can't have the gun.
Yeah, confiscated.
And, like, I think that, guns are a very big status symbol in the show. And I do think there's significance in the fact that she gives it up so easily, you know?
Yeah.
The fact that she just goes, it's so practical, it's just like, well, you need it more than I do. He's locked in a room. You're going into the unknown. Take it.
Yeah.
She's not like Sawyer. She's not going to be like,
no.
What are you going to give me for it?
Yeah.
Are we going to have a problem? Because she could have just said no.
Yeah. She could have made Jack go to Sawyer and get guns from him. But, I don't know. Maybe she doesn't know about Sawyer's little gun economy.
Well, we don't know what she knows because she's barely been in it for the last few episodes, so we don't know where she's at.
Yeah.
Hannah, I missed you.
Literally. That scene's so funny though.
Oh my
when
God.
Jack goes over and is like,
Fucking
Sawyer's
hilarious.
like, oh, so you're coming to me to invite me on the mission because you need guns. And he's like, I wasn't inviting you, I was inviting Kate.
He's like, I'm talking to her.
So funny. And also the only time that ever happens where Kate's invited on a mission.
Yeah.
Most of the time.
And then he
He's
ruins
like,
it.
Stay at home, Kate.
It's so good. It's such a high for Jack. It's such a high moment for Jack and Kate, where it's like, I want you to come on the mission because I trust you. And then he fucking ruins it by being like, yeah, well, the only reason I invited you is because I know that they don't want you because they would have kidnapped you already. Okay, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
I was like, what are you talking about?
Again, I think this is Jack not being able to flirt.
Yeah, I think it's just like, he can't be like, I just wanted to hang out with you because I think I like you.
It's supposed to be a bit cheeky, I think. Like when he goes, I asked Saeed first and he said no. I think it's supposed to be a bit silly.
He's just so bad at tone.
The tone is not there. Because then Kate goes like, damaged goods, both of us. And that's like cheeky, but also like we're not so different, you and I. Because the whole thing with Kate is it's like, she likes Jack, but thinks he's like too good for her because he's like a doctor, and like Sawyer's like the criminal,
like on her
like
level.
her. But she's saying no, you're also damaged goods.
Yeah, I mean, Kate, I don't think she takes it in like a jokey way.
Yeah,
and she definitely pursues the sort of cheeky energy of it.
Yeah,
but it is like so mean and such a stray to just throw out. The scene with Sawyer. The other thing I was like struck by in the scene, I don't know if you've ever like gone on Google Images to find pictures of like the characters from Lost, but that frame where Sawyer is like sitting on the rock and he's wearing the like grey t-shirt and he looks up at Jack, every Google image of Sawyer.
Really?
I've downloaded that image to use in things so many times.
That's so funny because like,
and it's such a random scene.
Yeah, that's so random.
And it's like, it's a really nice shot of him, you know, don't get me wrong, it's framed very nicely, he looks good, but like, it was really random and I was just like, oh my God.
That's really funny that you had that like jarring moment. But like
like, I'm pretty sure I have a Tumblr mutual with that as their profile picture, you know?
The best framed shot of Sawyer is surely sat in the curved bit of wreckage smoking a cigarette. Like, that looks amazing.
But it's like, because that one especially, because like typically when you go on like Google Images or whatever, it's all the like awkward promo shots where they look really jarringly clean. And it's like really freaky. And so that's one of the only ones you can get that is like in show. And it just really, I was like, oh my God.
That's so funny and weird.
But I did write down, it's dangerous to go alone, take Kate.
Nice, I like that.
From when Ana Lucia is like, take a gun, and also Kate.
And also Kate, you need her.
She's like, I can't go, so take the other one.
Yeah. How much interaction have Ana Lucia and Kate had?
Not enough.
Not enough, quite frankly. They need to les out.
They really do. More than anything in the world, it would have fixed the whole show.
Yeah, completely. Completely.
They could have, like, we could have had it all. You know?
We were so close. Yeah. Yeah.
In another life.
Now, something to discuss at length whilst we're talking about this plotline in the episode.
Go on, give me something to discuss at length.
The net thing.
I was going to say, is it the net thing?
Of course it's the net thing. Now, this might be because I'm asexual, but it wasn't until this watch through that I realised that was supposed to be sexy.
You just realised that was supposed to be a sexy scene.
Yeah.
They're in a net together.
I thought it was so awkward. I was just thinking about, like, if I was at me, it's like, they're all like breathing on each other and they can't get anything and they can't get the gun and they're like elbowing each other and she's like, oh, sorry, and they're like, oh, like it's just awkward and cramped and embarrassing. No. It wasn't until today that I realised they were like,
yeah, but like
noses were touching.
That's like the whole point of that plot line.
Well, I see
like
that now.
The first time Jack and Kate have been alone together since the horse incident, and now they like have to like address the horse in the room. And then it's like, oh my, we appear to be in a net together.
Yeah, well,
And you're just gonna have to put your hand in my pocket to get this gun out that is very phallic shaped. You really didn't realise?
No comment.
You know the description for this episode says, like, romantic sparks happen between Jack and Kate again or something.
I'm not reading the descriptions.
Because I remember that, because I remember being like, surely that's not what you go for to describe the subplot.
There's more going on in this episode, yeah.
That's hilarious. I remember them being in the net for much longer. In my memory...
Yeah, they're in it for like 10 seconds.
In my memory, they're like in the net and then it cuts away for like 3 more scenes and it comes back and then they're trying to shoot their way out of the net and they're like, oh god, we've been here for ages.
Yeah.
But no, they're literally in the net for like half a scene.
Yeah. I don't like that Jack made the shot and she didn't. Stop it with this gun-based misogyny, okay? We all know that Kate's an incredible shot.
He has a better angle, I guess.
Yeah.
But he is kind of rogue, because it's like, when has Jack ever shot a gun, first of all? And hit something? Has he ever shot a gun, actually, at this point in the show? Is this the first time he's
held one many a time. But I don't think he's actually shot anything.
He definitely hasn't killed anyone.
He had to kill the marshal. He had to put the marshal out of his misery, but that
wasn't with the gun.
Suffocation vibes.
He had a gun when they were trying to get Ethan.
Yeah.
But obviously it was Charlie who did that.
And when they went to the line the first time. But yeah, and there's nothing in his flashbacks to indicate that he would have used a gun at all.
I mean, Christian seems like the kind of guy that would be like, oh, you need some time to chill out, let's go to the gun range. And Jack would be like, I don't want to go to the gun, and he'd be like, man up and go to the gun range with me.
Yeah, it should have been the other way around, and he misses, and then Kate's like, let me do it. And then she shoots it.
But I guess what it does is kind of puts them on a similar level again. Like, I think a lot of, like, what's happened this series kind of knocks Jack down. And I mean, not this, like, kind of since the beginning of the show. It's all about, like, breaking down the pedestal that Jack is on, right? As, like, the perfect...
Kate's perspective.
In Kate's perspective, and also just in kind of the framing of the show, and the, like, he can save everybody, and he's, like, the one that everyone goes to with their problems. And, like, especially across this series, there's been a lot of, like, well, he's not the guy who's in charge anymore. Like, he didn't even know any of maternity leave until this episode.
Iconic.
Like, literally in his perception, he was like, oh, it's okay, Claire, baby will be fine, he's just got a normal rash. And then he went to the hatch and came back and it was like, yay, rash is okay now. He didn't even know they left.
So funny when Kate's like, we found another hatch, and he's like, what? What do you mean you found another hatch and didn't tell me? Like, that is earth-shattering news.
It is kind of hilarious of her to not tell him.
And she's like, there was nothing there, lol.
She's like, don't worry, there was nothing you could use, but, like, it was, like, a whole medical facility. And, like, yeah. So, like, he's been taken down from this, like, spot of, like, the big guy who's in charge and the perfect one, and, like, same with, like, John obviously has been going through it the whole time, but, like, in this series it's like he doesn't know what to do anymore, and none of them are, like, confident in, like, the island or whatever, or in getting rescued or in all of that. So, like, I do think it kind of puts them on a similar level, and especially the fact that, like, Jack being like, I'm gonna go to the line and I'm gonna yell for, like, multiple hours, apparently.
Yeah.
You know, he's not at his best. Perfect, composed authority figure-wise.
Right.
So, like, I guess it kind of, maybe that's the intention behind it, is that it's kind of, like, levelling them out.
I've used cheeky to describe this plot line, like, 5 times.
Yeah, it's not what I would have gone for.
Line. Cheeky.
Really not what I would have gone for.
Cheeky.
But I suppose...
Screaming at the line, pretty cheeky.
Pretty cheeky.
What's he like? Can't take him anywhere.
I did think it was quite funny when Kate was like, what's the plan now? And he's like, I'm going to wait till I get my voice back and I'm going to start shouting again. I was like, that's kind of hilarious.
Iconic, yeah.
If I was there, I would have laughed at that. I would have been like, great. On it, let's do shifts. Let's do shouting shifts.
In a way, paralleling Michael quite a lot.
Yeah.
Whoa!
What?
Because that's what happens in Adrift, right? He's just shouting, and Sawyer's like, he can't hear you, bitch. He doesn't say bitch.
He didn't say it, but like emotionally he said bitch.
So, should we talk about Michael being back?
Yeah.
Michael's back,
Michael's
everyone.
back.
Michael's back, thank God.
And he's been, this is like the opposite of like, you know, in series 1 when we were like, we got to Homecoming and we were like, Claire was not gone for that long.
Yeah.
Michael was gone way longer than he was in my head.
Oh my God, he'd gone for so long.
I genuinely thought he was gone for like 2 or 3 episodes, like with Claire, and then he comes back again. He was gone for ages.
I guess because so much is happening that you kind of like forget that he's run off. But I have missed Michael so much. I love Michael. He's such a fun character.
I missed him so bad. He's great.
Like,
and I miss Walt. Where's Walt?
Yeah.
Walt's not with him, so clearly he's failed.
In his mission to go and find Walt, yeah. So what's he been doing this whole time?
Oh, we don't know. I mean, it was just the one... But, like, it seems as if... It's an interesting thing, isn't it, that Henry said they're not going to give you Walt, but they will give you Michael.
Well, that's assuming the others captured Michael, isn't it?
What, you think Michael just coincidentally
I think he's just
them?
been running around in the jungle for 9 days.
I mean, it's possible.
Frantically fell out of a hedge at the right moment.
He heard shouting and he was like, oh shit, that's Jack.
I think it's so great that you can, well, I could at least, tell that it's him.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I recognise that panting. Like, even though he's just like going...
You're like, oh my God.
I know that voice. Michael's fucking back, bitches, let's go!
And what an ending as well, to have that, like, lovely montage with, like, the music and everybody's happy, and then it's like, remember what these guys are doing. Michael's back.
Doof. Poof. Yeah.
You know?
The montage was so lovely. I genuinely
really nice.
thought we didn't get any more montages after, like, the one where Rose and Bernard reunite, actually. Because there's that montage of, like, everyone from the tail section coming back in, isn't there?
Yeah.
And yet we get another Rose and Bernard montage, basically, fueled by them.
And there was
I would
another
say.
Rose and Bernard themed montage earlier in the series, and Everybody Hates Hugo, where we had the tail section, and this is the first time you see Bernard.
Yes.
And then you get Rose putting the chocolate bar in her pocket
and
for
holding
him.
onto the wedding ring. They're so fucking cute.
They're great. They're so great.
I love them so much.
I have to say, like, I do think it's a really interesting plot choice to have them have, like, only been together, like, a year. But not even that, right? Like, 6 months they've been together for or something.
I do think it is longer than a year. I think it's just over a year because it's 5 months they've been together when he proposed.
But then they're on their honeymoon in Australia.
Yeah. But, like, you know, they've got to plan a whole wedding.
I guess you have to plan a wedding.
You know, that shit takes time. Book the tickets to Australia. Yeah, okay, maybe it's about a year, but it's when Bernard says, like, if I didn't always have to do something, you wouldn't still be here. That gave me the energy of, like, because Rose said she had about a year to live.
I guess there's, like, an urgency to it of, like, she's not got long left.
Yeah. It may have been over a year since that conversation because, like...
That makes sense.
But
yeah.
It's hazy. Basically, they've not been together very long, but you assume that they've been married for years because they're both old.
Because of their age, you assume they've been together a really long time. And I think, like, I do think it's fun to subvert that and to have that. Because obviously that argument where the car is stuck in the snow, it's, like, so old married couple. And then it's, like, actually, this is the first time they've met.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think we were robbed of, like, 70s
Rose
Bernard
God,
flashbacks.
so robbed. We talked about this for so long. We've planned a whole thing. This is how it would work. Interior, nightclub,
Disco.
Studio 54. It's 1973. I don't know. It's somewhere in the 70s, and I can just see her now. Rose big afro.
Jumpsuit. Sparkly jumpsuit.
Yes.
She's tearing it up on the dance floor.
Absolutely
Bernard
going wild.
is wearing, like, a paisley shirt.
Yeah. Undone with a medallion, gold medallion,
and he's
hairy chest.
like having a drink at the bar, and he's like, "How do I talk to her?"
Yeah, big, juicy, thick mustache,
big mustache,
mullet, old style, old school mullet. Yeah, black hair or something, because it's like shocking contrast to his
really
white hair now.
Something that like we watch the flashback and we're like, what is happening?
What is this? Yeah.
And they're boogie, and then they have a dance together, and then they're on the night and on the dance floor, and they're yelling, and it's like, hey, what's your name?
Yeah.
Rose.
And then we go, twist. It was Rose and Bernard this whole time.
It would have been so good. And
good!
I mourn it.
Yes.
I mourn it.
Me too.
Like, I wish we could have had a world where they've got, like... Because also, like, I think the way that Rose is with, like, Jack, I think it would be really fun if she had, like, a 30-year-old son or something.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And, like, when she's talking to Charlie and it's quite, like, motherly. And I'm like, it would be really nice if actually Rose and Bernard had these, like... kids who are all in their 20s kids. And they're like, oh, you know,
that would be really cool actually. Yeah.
And then it's like suddenly because like we said, you know, how they never do like a father-son thing between Jack and John, but like they could in this case.
She has a very motherly energy and general sort of presence, and like that totally fits with her character because she's very like composed, very wise, very like, and I think like having this sort of chronic illness has definitely impacted that in her character. Like finding that out in this episode made sense to me because I was like,
it's not like a curveball. Like it aligns with what we know about her. You know,
because she's very strong, and you know she has a kind of conviction. She also has faith. You know, like so. I think her conviction is like her faith has influenced her conviction is what I was trying to say. And like, yeah, I understand how she has come to terms with the fact that she's dying in the flashback.
And I think it really draws into perspective stuff like, when Charlie is like not talking to anyone because of what happened with Claire and how he almost died, and then she's like, you just got to get up and move on.
Yeah.
You know? You're suffering from post-traumatic shock, aren't we all? You know? She's like, this isn't my first rodeo.
Yeah.
And like, I think it's a really good... And I almost wish we'd known it about her sooner. Because I think it could have been really interesting to like explicitly play on.
Yeah.
In her, like, this isn't her first near-death experience.
Yeah.
Or like, she understands that like, you can experience these like tragedies, but like, life goes on.
Yeah.
And
she's all about like finding the joy in the situation.
Yeah. And like she's able to just live in the moment and like enjoy herself, and like, you know, when is a bag of potato chips gonna bother me? Like it's all very like down to earth and just like in the
doing
moment.
Her laundry,
and, like,
you know, like,
and like enjoying the slowness of it. Like the fact that she doesn't mind washing her clothes by hand because it's like, she's got time.
Yeah.
And
time is the one thing she didn't have off the island. She didn't have
before.
Wow. Isn't that beautiful? The flashback narrative of this episode, honestly.
So good.
I think Elle Scott Caldwell is a brilliant, brilliant actor.
She's fantastic.
She just sells it all so well, and she's really given her chance to shine in this episode, and I think it's so... excellent. I nearly cried during the proposal scene. I nearly cried. I was like,
so
oh my
good.
God, this is getting me emotional.
It's like, dare I say, the most romantic moment in the whole show. The way she goes, and she's clearly rehearsed this speech because she needs to tell him, and to have like, you didn't answer my question.
And she says, are you sure? Are you sure? It's so beautiful and lovely.
It's so good. It's so beautiful, and it's so like, yeah.
And the little violinists coming over, so cute.
And like also the fact that like it's really nice because it's like when Bernard says like, I've been a bachelor for 56 years. It's like, this is the first time they've like been in love, and that they've been in like these important relationships, and then to feel that for the first time and then find out that it's going to end in a year, heartbreaking.
And also,
of course you would do anything you can to make that make it keep going and to keep her alive.
Well, we'll get to that, but like, yeah, like to not be jaded as well, to like get to that age and not be so cynical that you just think you're not going to find love, I think is...
absolutely.
Like, they're genuinely so enamored with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's so cute, guys.
It's so good.
Because, like, we don't get that a lot in this show.
It makes it so lovely, I think, that Rose, when she's, like, so unshakably convinced that Banana's still alive, and it's, like, because she knows that the island has done good things for her.
Oh my god. Of course
and
she's gonna
knows that it is magical.
It all makes sense now. Like, I never questioned it before because I was like, she knows. She's got it.
But it's so brilliant, and I think the faith is an interesting element that, you know, that you mentioned, that, like, that's influenced her coming to terms with her illness and her life, because then we have, like, Charlie and Echo, who come back in this episode. They're building a church.
We find out in this episode they are building a church.
Which is, first of all, okay. But also, like, so, because for all, and I love how casually it's dropped in, because, like, how many episodes has Echo been mysteriously putting crosses on trees?
I know!
And, like, chopping stuff down. And I love that he asked Charlie to help him with it when, like, they said the Lord's Prayer together over the burning plain, and he's like, he will understand why I have to build this church. And to have that just in the background of, like, Rose, who... like her, and it's like the faith has kind of brought them to the island in a way, because it's like the priests crashing on the island, and then like they've brought, and the island in a way, what was it that Echo said? Hold on. People are saved in different ways. It's like the island has saved Echo. In a way, because it's given him, first of all, an out from this life that he used to have, but also it's given him this emotional resolution to knowing what happened to his brother and being able to, like, put him to rest. And so
it saved Rose, quite literally.
Literally, it saved John in a way. Yes. I mean, it's also done bad things to John.
They're testing John, at the very least, the island.
And I love, oh my god, John and Rose, when they're sitting on the beach looking out at the water.
It's great.
You and I both know it's going to be much quicker than that.
So fucking iconic for Rose to have known this whole time and not said anything.
And the fact that, like, because also, like, John, he's so insistent that no one has to know, right? And I feel like it almost leads me to be like, does he even remember seeing Rose in the airport? It feels like that moment where she's gone, you and I both know that's not going to happen. He's gone, oh my god, that was you.
He's gone, you!
He's gone, shit.
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe they had a little queen out off screen.
Maybe.
He was like, you're not going to tell anyone. She was like, I wouldn't even dream of it.
Don't even worry about it. But, like, it's because Rose, you know, she doesn't need to question it because she knows that the island saved her. Yeah. So she knows that the island gave John the ability to walk again.
Yeah. So
she doesn't need to talk to him about it because she's like, I know that.
Isn't it so lovely that John now has someone he can talk to about it? And, like, you know, because he didn't necessarily know. Obviously, he picks up the pills, but they could be they could be like aspirins or something. Do you know what I mean? Like, he doesn't know that she had this terminal illness, and now they can both talk about it. And, like, I love Rose's ability to have a conversation with someone at their absolute lowest and just rejuvenate them, and he just waltzes back into the hatch, like, starts drawing his mouth again.
Yay! And it's very much, you know, like in Numbers, where we have Hurley say to Rousseau, the numbers are magic, right? And she's like, yes.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not all in my head, this, like, insane faith in the island and whatever. It's not all on John.
Yeah.
And it's also, like, because I think, like, John is really doubting himself at this point in time, you know? Yeah. He's been really shaken by what's happened. You know, since, like, Boone's death, really, he's not really trusted in the island in the same way, and all that, like, putting all of his faith into opening the hatch and then getting in there, and it's not, like, the answers he wants, and now he doesn't know, and he's found out that Henry was lying. and like all of this, like he's been tested at every turn.
Yeah.
Really severely. And at this point, he is almost definitely doubting that there's even any magic, that there's even like an intention for them and a fate that they're waiting for. Because, like, especially with the fact that he can't walk again, I would start thinking, like, maybe it was just adrenaline.
Well, because think about when, in Deus Ex Machina, he loses feeling in his legs and the ability to walk and briefly.
Freaks out.
And it's played in this kind of way of, like, the island's taking away what it gave me. And I think it's sort of like every time Locke has a crisis of faith, he has this inability to walk.
Yeah.
Linked to it.
And like inability to walk metaphorically, like inability to move forward. To move on.
I just needed to stretch my legs. I wrote down important in capital letters so I wouldn't forget to talk about it. Important. I just needed to stretch my legs.
Very good.
There's so much I could say. Like the layers to that. Obviously, like, his, you know, what the island has given him, his journey, like, from crashing, and, like, the moving of the toe, and then the casualness of stretch my legs as an expression as well, like, all linking up into, like, this kind of reaffirmation. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and, like, in 4 years, he hasn't been able to just go stretch his legs. And now he can. I do think they saved John a lot of dignity by having him completely static in all of those scenes, though, because like picturing like Terry O'Quinn trying to like crutch walk along a beach.
Oh god, yeah.
It's really quite lucky that they just like they just sat him down.
Yeah. But the crutches are really interesting as well, because obviously the crutches crop up in the flashbacks.
Yeah, the crutches hanging from the ceiling.
I found that scene so eerie. Like, there was something quite sinister about the way it looked when she's just walking through this room and there's all those crutches hanging from the ceiling.
And all the, like, cards from the people that he's, like, supposedly saved.
You kind of get this, like, there's a sinisterness around Isaac before he appears, I think, which maybe is kind of, like, trying to clue you into, like, a sort of supernatural, there's something going on here, you know? And, like, I think there's a lot of parallels between him and the psychic that Claire sees.
I was gonna say, especially with giving back the money.
Yeah.
When he's like, I can't help you, I'll give back your husband's money.
Yeah.
Versus the psychic being like, I can't read your fortune. He like gives the money back to Claire.
But what the psychic sees is something awful for Claire, right? Blurry is bad.
Yeah.
Whereas Isaac sees for Rose a future where she can be healed, but it's just not here.
It's not where he is.
And now we've got to talk a lot about this scene.
I kind of wrote down that he looks a bit like Patrick Stewart if he was Australian.
He does look a little
like,
bit like
when
Patrick
he
Stewart.
first came through the door, I was like, did I somehow forget Patrick Stewart's in this show? And then he like turned and I was like, okay, no, never mind.
Imagine if he was just this tiny part with an Australian accent.
Australian for some reason. Yeah.
Second of all, very, very important to talk about this, like, miracle faith healer, right?
Yeah.
So, the concept of a faith healer in this show, where we've had psychics who are real, and Jack as a doctor, who is notorious for performing miracle surgeries, right? And now you've got this guy who's like a sort of, I think I can sort of see them as a little triangle, right?
Yeah.
You know? And sort of man of science, man of faith, if you will, plus the psychic. So
and a psychic.
And a psychic.
A man of science, a man of faith, brackets, and a psychic. I think the psychic was implied.
Yeah, the whole time. I definitely think so.
Right, guys?
He says there are places on the earth that have a certain energy, and he said it was, did he say magnetic? Let me fucking find it.
All I wrote down was Patrick Stewart if he was Aussie.
No, you need to talk about the papyrus font on the pamphlet. That's what I wrote down. So he says there are spots on the earth with great energy, perhaps magnetic. And then he can harness it and put it into people or something, or like give it to people.
And now let's flip over to the scientific side for a moment. why is the hatch so significant?
Yes.
Because of the unique electromagnetic energy emanating from this sector of the island. And that is exactly what is said in the orientation video.
Exactly!
And I know that because I memorised it for a monologue recently.
Oh my god, I want to tear out my brain and wash it under a cold tap. Like, oh my god. This is huge, and it's not treated like it's huge at all.
Yeah.
Because it's like, you're basically getting confirmation that the island has an energy, a magnetic energy.
That is, and it's like, it's so fun, I think, to draw it together and be like, look, is it all science and practical? Is it all magic? It's both.
It's both.
It just depends on how you look at it and what kind of person you are. Like, whether you're a person like Saeed or Jack or Dr. Marvin Candle,
Yeah.
who are gonna be like, it's a scientific phenomenon
Yes.
with a big magnet we have to harness or whatever.
Yes.
Or whether you're a person like Isaac or John or Rose or Echo, who are
Yes.
gonna be like, you know, it's a magical thing. And you almost have it in a triad with then, in a way, like Echo as like a faith thing.
Yeah.
'Cause it's kind of different to magic. Like, John's not
No, but if you're
religious,
taking man of faith
but man of faith.
and man of science, so faith in the island, as whether that's in hand with a faith in God, right? But like that is so interesting to me that like we have this. I mean, maybe we already had it, right, with like Jack's key necklace and the compass that Saeed had going, but basically confirmation that there is a magnetic energy on the island. Now, whether that's in the hatch or not, and whether the button has anything to do with it,
This is the
I
thing,
don't
we
know.
still don't know how the button ties into all of this and what the incident was
No.
that means the button needs to be pressed, and it could still be fake and all of that. But we know that the electromagnetic energy on that area of the island is 100% real.
yeah, and if Isaac is saying that he can harness the energy, maybe that's what the Dharma Initiative were trying to do, but it
just
went
doing it
wrong,
scientifically.
and that's what the incident was.
Yeah, maybe if they'd done it in a like kind of way, then there would have been no explosion or whatever it was that caused it.
Maybe.
Who knows?
Who knows? But what I do know is this is huge.
It is
And
huge.
also really interesting that it's not just the island.
Yeah.
Like, other places in the world, like in the Australian outback, have
this.
an energy. And
And
like, he
it's-
has healed people
Yeah.
with this
and,
energy.
you know, that it draws into question many things. First of all, if we're talking Australian outback magical energy, we have two flashbacks that could be significant in this. Obviously, the psychic and Claire, and like I wouldn't put it past the American writers to perceive Australia as an entire monolith despite it being huge and be like,
Yeah.
well, yeah, it's just the entirety of Australia.
Yeah.
And obviously we don't know where Claire's from, I don't think.
No, she might have said.
Is
but-
she from Sydney? Because they're flying from Sydney.
Yeah.
And she's able to just catch the plane.
So I guess she does live in Sydney, yes.
I suppose. But the other character...
But we don't know how big the energy pocket could be.
No, this is true. I mean, we don't know how big it is on the island. Is it the whole island? Is it just this bit of the island?
Yeah.
With the tail section not influenced by it, and that's why so many of them died? Hey,
Could
could be.
Could be.
But the other flashback that I think is important to this is you're talking about the numbers.
You're talking about the numbers.
Because she lives in like a far off
In the middle of
remote
nowhere,
location
yeah.
in Australia. And like that,
Yeah, but how does that relate to the energy?
because it relates to
thing?
the magic of the island and the numbers and the transmission. And then it's like, is the positive energy that's healing a counterpart to the numbers which are bad and evil and do bad things to people? Is it like a yin-yang situation?
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I
You
can
know?
see that.
Where
But
it's like the island giveth and the island taketh away.
yeah, sure. I can see that. Like a positive energy and a negative energy. You know, if you want to be scientific about it. Like the ends of a magnet.
Protons and electrons and all that nonsense.
And whatnot. But her house in the outback has got nothing to do with the numbers. Like he just moved them there because he was like, then you're not going to come to any harm because there's nothing around. It's like a safe house, basically.
But was it a safe house because it was near the energy? No, I'm pushing it now.
But I take your point.
But do you see what I mean? Like,
Yes.
location, symbolically speaking.
Symbolically speaking,
Rather than
for
narratively
sure.
speaking.
And also, like, the idea that the plane set off from Sydney and then landed on the island. Crash landed.
Landed on the island perfectly. That was the intention.
Yeah. But maybe it was
But maybe it's
in terms of the energy of the world.
It leads us to question, you know, where could these energy locations be on the planet elsewhere?
Yeah.
You know, there can be loads. We could, like, comb through every other flashback. Maybe, you know, the one hospital in Los Angeles is built over this
Right on an energy pocket.
and Jack unintentionally can harness the energy and perform miracles, and that's how he
Yes.
saved Sarah.
I think that is 100% correct.
It's the truth.
And that's why there's only one hospital in LA, because like none of the others have any business, because everyone just goes to the
they
one
don't
that has
have
the- on the
magnetic
energy. On the energy.
And, like, it does, you know, that's, like, mostly lighthearted, but also, like, it does, when you look at, like, Christian and the kind of inheritance of the family trade thing, and, like, you don't have what it takes, maybe Christian's got magnet magic too.
He can harness the energy.
It's genetic.
Maybe. I genuinely do think it's something that's very easy to miss, because Jack is the man of science, you know, that I think there is something miraculous at play in his work, you know?
Absolutely. And the fact that, like, it's not just that he's a good doctor, because it's like he is impressive enough that, like, the Italian guy heard about him and flew to LA to be treated by him, you know?
Yeah.
Like, he's not just a very good doctor. And yeah, and it is like at the end of the day, Jack is he's kind of got this like chosen one energy about him. But he's trying to be like, no, it's science. I'm just good at surgery. And there's many ways that this could be developed upon, but all of them are spoilers, so I can't say any of them. But like there's some very interesting further developments from that line of thinking that could be pursued.
Totally. We'll leave that there then.
We'll be discussing this later when we're not recording.
We will be discussing. But I do have to, as much as I love Bernard, and I think he's great and wonderful and romantic and lovely in this episode, slightly unforgivable that he signs Rose up for this, to this guy without even discussing it with her.
It is a bit like, I understand that he's really desperate and that he's had this moment of like this hope, you know, and that like I assume the reason he didn't tell her is because he knew that she would say no, right?
Yeah, but then that should be an indication not to do it.
But it is.
Do you know what I mean? Because if you know she's going to say no, then you know she's made peace with it.
Yeah.
Like I understand.
Honor what she wants.
When he says like, I haven't, and I don't want to lose you, basically, like, do this for me. I'm like, okay, I do have a bit more sympathy for him, but I just can't believe he didn't discuss it with her first.
It is crazy. It is, like... But it's, like, you know, it's not unrealistic. It totally makes sense with the character. So it's not like it's not like me being like with Jack being a dick in this episode, I'm like, well, why would you write it like that? But this, like, you know, I do really... It's one of those things where it's an impossible situation where you can really understand where both people are coming from.
Oh, totally.
But they really just, you know, they won't be able to reach a conclusion on it, you know? Absolutely.
And, you know, he lied to her for their entire honeymoon, but then she's lied to him since. So,
she has, like, not told
I guess
him,
it
like...
balances out.
But I think the thing as well, that I think, where you said, you know, I've made peace with dying, and he says, I haven't. I think that does... you know, flip over quite well onto, like, made peace with dying in the sense of, like, making peace with being on the island and not being able to leave. And, like, you know, in a sense, it is like a death of all of them, like, it's a death of their old lives, you know?
So what you're saying is they were dead the whole time?
What I'm saying is they were dead the whole time. But, like... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's like, they
you
have to...
get a new life on this island, tabula rasa, all of that jazz.
Yeah. And you have to make peace with the fact that you're not going to leave, and that is kind of the on-island plot. It's like you have to make peace with the fact that we're not going to escape. Not only because Rose is like, if I leave, you know, my cancer might come back, but also because it's like, you have to just abandon that. You have to make peace with it. You have to be like, nothing is ever going to be the same. And that's okay. And we carry on. And we build a life here that we enjoy. And I think it's a really... Yeah, it's a sort of very nice optimistic episode.
Yeah.
You know? We don't often get episodes that are overwhelmingly on a high note. And it's crazy that the episode that's overwhelmingly on a high note is an episode about terminal cancer.
Yeah. Yeah. But that's this show.
But that's Lost for
It's
you.
very interesting that you've said terminal cancer, because I always thought of it as cancer as well, but it doesn't explicitly say... She never explicitly says cancer in this episode.
I guess because they use language like remission.
Yeah. Right.
I've never heard that in any context other than cancer.
But I think it's very intentional, because all she ever uses to describe herself is sick and sickness.
Sick.
And obviously we have this whole narrative of the sickness on the island. So... if there are pockets of energy that are not on the island, and there could be positive and negative energies elsewhere in the world, is there a possibility that the sickness is connected to a negative energy and she
like
has
mirrors.
caught the sickness off the island and then has come to the island and been cured of the sickness?
And you know, that does kind of parallel with like last week, Hurley describes himself as sick and never specifies anything. We never get like a... Hurley is diagnosed with, I don't know, schizophrenia or whatever.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm sick.
Yeah.
Kind of like, you know...
It's there to keep us guessing, really,
it's there
isn't
to keep
it?
you questioning things.
I definitely think that the sickness with capital letters is something that's exclusive to the island at this point.
We haven't really been told otherwise.
But there's the possibility that it could be something else.
Could be. And I also do think...
Because we still don't know how John ended up in the wheelchair.
This is true. He could have been sick in some manner.
Capital
of speaking.
S-I-C-K, yes.
And I do think it also, like, it tells us interesting things about the psychology of the characters when they use evasive language like sick. And it might be a writing choice to, like, not...
I think it mostly is, but we can
to, like, not
entertain
pigeonhole
this.
them also. Like,
Yeah.
even in the symbolic sense of the sickness and stuff with the capital S, but also to not pigeonhole a character into a specific condition or whatever.
Sure.
But I do think it's an interesting thing to then look at, like, yeah, the language they use to describe themselves, and the way that, like, a lot of the way that Jack talks is very clinical, because he's a doctor.
Yeah.
But that everybody else just says things like sick, and, like, rash, and crying, or whatever.
All messed up inside.
All messed up inside. Something is wrong. Versus, like, Jack being like, this, and this, and this, and this.
These
and
are-
amoxicillin and all
Yeah.
of that.
Textbook pregnant woman anxiety nightmares.
Yeah.
Because we've all read that textbook.
It's my favourite text.
Love it. And also she knows as well.
Yeah.
Like, when she says, like, when you have something inside you, like, oh God, that got me so emotional as well, that whole monologue. And then she's like, you can feel when it's not there. And I think that's so beautiful, because it's just like, it's just so poignant to her
Really
and her
poignant.
journey and herself.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it makes me wonder as well, those pills that she had that then, like, John picked up for her, you know, have we seen those pills again?
That's a good point. They could have been. Sawyer could have been snatching them out of her suitcase or whatever, and she's like,
No.
take them, I don't need them anymore.
Because she knows she doesn't need to take them anymore. Hey, wouldn't it be crazy if she was taking, what was it, Hurley, lorazepam,
Yeah.
and then gives it to Hurley? Obviously she wouldn't be, because it's nothing
No.
to do, but, like, that would be quite fun, you know, symbolically speaking.
Or she was taking amoxicillin and then Sawyer used it to treat his STD.
Yeah. Something was burning dark. How are they building all this shit when Michael's not here? Can we talk about that?
That is such a good point. Our
Can we talk about
construction guy.
Because, like, I noticed when Bernard mentions the showers, he says people are showering in the hatch, and I was like, yeah, that's because Michael never built the showers that he designed. Because he was like, why are we doing this? Let's build a raft.
Oh my god, there should have been more queening out between Michael and Bernard.
Well, they've not met yet.
They did
No,
when
they
Michael
didn't.
went over to the tail section.
But give him, they're gonna get back, and Bernard's gonna be like, I tried to build this SOS sign because like, what are we doing here? And Michael's gonna be like, so
Exactly.
true.
Exactly.
That's what I've been saying. That's why I built the raft in the first place. Maybe that's what Jin was thinking this whole episode. He was like, can't wait for Michael to get back and hear about all this.
Yeah.
He's gonna tell Mike somehow. He's gonna be like, Michael. He's gonna come out full fluent English. And be like, you're never gonna guess what happened.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say he's gonna draw it in the sand.
He's gonna
and
draw
show him.
A comic
Jin
book,
is
if you will.
iconic in this episode.
Jin is great in this episode. just, I don't even think he speaks at all. It's just a bunch of judgmental looks.
He does speak.
Not much.
Not much though. He says sorry right before he leaves.
He does say sorry.
But so I always have this memory. I remember it being more like cartoony in my head when he's the last one to quit, and in my head he like drops the rock and goes, "I'm out." Basically, he didn't quite do that.
No,
but
not quite.
I really like that he was the last one. Obviously, he's strongest. He's got those big
and
muscles, so he can lift those rocks. But black rocks.
Yeah, where did he get all of those from also?
From a lava field, he said. I was like, what the fuck?
Bernard's just dropping lore left, right and centre this episode.
Just casually dropping.
Lava field.
What do you mean there's lava? Where the hell did
There's
you
a
find
volcano?
that?
Is there a volcano on the island? Is that what
Like,
we're getting at?
literally, don't even joke. Like, don't even joke about that. I swear he said lava field. I swear he
Sure,
did.
because like what else would make rocks that like,
But only like
black?
a half a mile from the camp.
And we've never mentioned it before. We've never
Apart
been
from
there.
maybe when Rousseau set the fire, did she use a big black rock in that?
Maybe.
To create the black smoke.
To make the black smoke. Maybe.
But then black rock and black smoke, both important things to this show. So
At the end of the season is just a volcano erupting and it's just a bunch of the black smoke monsters that come out.
would love that. Like sort of Scooby-Doo ghosts like exploding out of a castle or something.
Okay, I feel like that's something we do need to address actually from this episode.
Yeah.
And you know what? You might have to stop me because I can't remember if we've addressed this before. But in the scene with Charlie and Echo, where they're talking about building the church, Charlie does call him Bernard.
We haven't, and I've been waiting for this moment to address it.
And so this is something that has been a long time coming.
It certainly has.
Because, so obviously, for the uninitiated, that's the English way of saying that name.
Yeah, so if I met an English person, they would be called Bernard. But I always thought, and we've talked about this even before we started the podcast, and now I'm not sure if we discussed it when we were starting the podcast, like how are we going to pronounce it on air?
I remember that every time we say Bernard at home, Dad goes Bernard.
Bernard. But to me,
They're
he's
different.
called Bernard.
Yeah.
And it feels really jarring when Charlie says Bernard here.
Yeah.
Because they feel like two different names almost. And also just like, I don't know if it's, maybe this is going to sound very ridiculous, but maybe something about like our generation and like a lot of people like choosing their own names and stuff.
It's like say it how someone's told you.
Yeah, if someone introduces me with that name, if someone introduces themselves to me with a certain name, pronounced in a certain way, I'm going to use that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And this is why I always call him Hurley most of the time as well.
Yeah.
Rather than Hugo.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think like it is one of those things that's like it's not just like with like Craig and Craig, right? That is just an accent difference. But like the emphasis is totally different.
Yeah.
They are different names to me. And it is like, if somebody pronounces their name a certain way to me when they say it, I'll say it that way, you know?
But then how do you feel about the dog? The dog breed.
What dog? Oh, Saint Bernard.
See, you just said Saint Bernard, but I think I would say a Saint Bernard dog.
I mostly say Saint Bernard because of that song.
What song?
There's this really dramatic ass song that's used in like TikTok POVs all the time. And it's like, I don't know any of the lyrics, but it's called Saint Bernard, and there's a line that's like Saint Bernard at the top of the driveway. Jesus Christ. I don't know what song. I've never listened to the whole song. I've only ever listened to that 1 minute segment that is used in like TikTok videos. It's always like a makeup transition or something, like an SFX makeup transition. Like, it's like a really dramatic song. And I didn't clock for ages that they meant like the dog. Because the song has like a weird sort of dramatic satanic undertones.
You're picturing like...
So I was picturing like Saint Bernard, you know? Like in a sort of Virgin Mary. But then I realised...
You have to save the baby, Charlie.
Exactly. And then I realised that they meant the dog, like, a lot later on. So I would call it a Saint Bernard. But mostly because of that song, I think. Right. But I don't know. I've never met a Saint Bernard dog. I don't know what they're big ones, right?
I think so, yes. I remember my first encounter with a Saint Bernard dog. Equally weird. Do you remember Puppy in My Pocket?
Oh my god, I love Puppy in My Pocket.
You guys remember Puppy in My Pocket? They were this iconic range of little toys. Little dogs, obviously, although there were many different things, weren't there? Because I really liked Jungle in My Pocket. Because I had a warthog. For some reason, I got really attached to this warthog.
I remember the warthog.
The warthog, and his tusk fell off. Do you remember?
I remember when the tusk fell off.
Because he went on the little skateboard. Oh yeah, there was one of the ranges of dogs had skateboards and scooters.
It was like there was like a skate park. Because there was also Kitty in My Pocket.
Kitty in My
Pocket. We had a lot of cats.
Yeah.
They were all crucially like they were all secondhand. I don't think we ever got one new.
We did. We used to go to Wilco. We used to go to Wilco and get a Puppy in My Pocket as a little treat.
I remember getting like bulk bags from charity shops.
Well, I think we did do that as well.
And we had the board game. We had the Puppy in My Pocket board game. Do you remember that?
No.
It's like a spinner in the middle, and I remember that it doesn't come with pieces because in the instructions it says pick your favourite Puppy in My Pocket to play with.
Cute! Love that!
And my favourite was a cat that's got its paw on top of a fishbowl, and there's a tiny little orange like goldfish in the fishbowl.
That's a good one. That's a good one. The warthog was my favourite for no reason whatsoever.
And they were all rubbed off, like, you know, when like old Sylvanian families, when they've got like bald spots from being held too much, like they were all paint rubbed off the eyes because we played with them so much.
Yeah.
Teeth marks in the plastic bits. There was one puppy that was riding a scooter, but it was just the handlebars of the scooter because the scooter had broken off.
Yeah.
And you would play...
I had so many of these fucking things.
Genuinely, I think Ariel had like 200.
I had so many.
And you would spin the spinner on the game, and then you'd like move your puppy around, and then you'd like answer questions. It was a bit of a shit game, but it was fun.
But hey, I do vaguely remember this now that you're talking about it.
It was all like bright pink.
Yeah. Because we also had a Winx Club board game, despite having never watched or played or interacted with Winx Club ever.
Watched the Winx Club, but we did have the Winx Club board game. Again, I think it was a charity shop find.
Yeah.
We never really figured out how to play the game. No. We kind of used to just get out and look at it.
I would love to revisit the Winx Club game, and now
probably got it somewhere.
Because like I feel like it was too complicated. We were probably like 10 or something.
Yeah.
It was probably aimed at like
younger
14,
than that
15.
Even.
Yeah.
It was like a trading card game.
Yeah.
It was like you build your like group of Winx girls and then you have to like fight each other, but like mostly I remember that we would get it out and look at it and put
having
it away
no frame of reference of what Winx was and also being too young to understand a complicated card game. It never really took off.
Played it,
but I would love to revisit it. Do you remember it used to smell, sorry this is so weird, but it used to smell really good.
Thinking that it was mostly about getting it out to like smell it,
sniffing the cards.
Because there was a thing about making friendship bracelets as well, and the elastic bands all had the smell. It was in like a tin lunchbox.
Yes, and you had to wear a ring. You had to wear a plastic ring.
Awful plastic ring that was so small.
It was too small for our fingers, despite the fact that we were younger than the target audience for this game. And you had to move it like when the sun set or something. When it was a different
It was like the days of the week.
You had to move it across your fingers. It was so fucking complicated for why.
And I really vividly remember trying to play it with Dad once. And him being like, well, explain the rules to me. And we'd be like, we don't really know. We can't just make it up. And then most of the game was just us laughing at him trying to put the rings on. Because he's obviously an adult man.
Oh my god, you're getting such an insight into our childhood lore with the Winx Club game. We've literally never talked about the Winx Club game since we played it, I don't think.
No, we've not talked about it.
I'm so glad that you remember it so well.
The crazy thing is, as soon as I brought up the Puppy in My Pocket game, I was thinking about the Winx Club.
The Winx Club game.
Do you remember the Disney Princess chessboard? Because we used to play with the Puppy in My Pockets on the chessboard. Again, we didn't know how to play chess, but we would like move them around on the squares. Pretend we knew how to play chess.
It's like the Queen's Gambit, but we thought we were in the Queen's Gambit.
Truly.
But it's probably like a 9 and 7-year-old
Sitting
moving
opposite
Puppy
each
in My Pockets around on a pink and white
Going like warthog to B4.
Disney princess themed chessboard.
It was like specifically Snow White themed, I think, bizarrely, even though crucially they don't play chess in any of the Disney films. Like, there's maybe a chessboard in the library in Beauty and the Beast, but that's the best I can think of.
It'd be cool if the chess pieces were alive, wouldn't that would be cool.
That would be cool, yeah.
That wasn't really a sentence, but you got the idea. I got a bit too excited about the childhood games. We have so many crazy games that we could get into.
We had a St. Bernard puppy in my pocket.
There was a St. Bernard puppy in my pocket, and it, for some reason, it had like a barrel of ale or something around its neck. And I remember asking Dad what that was and what it meant, and I don't remember getting a clear answer, but I think it's maybe like an old-timey symbol of the UK, a bit like John Bull situation, you know, like a kind of, the UK would be represented by this St. Bernard dog with a barrel of ale around it as like a kind of British culture.
I've seen a lot of like like a dog collar with a barrel on.
Yeah.
This is like a super old puppy in my pocket. That's the only thing that Google Images is coming up with.
That's not the one I know. He was sat down, I'm pretty sure.
Also, they were way less fancy looking than that.
Yeah. But that's how I discovered what that breed of dog was.
That's the brand we had.
Yeah. So if they look anything like that, they kind of have droopy eyes and big sort of jowls and a barrel of ale around his neck for some reason.
And you know what? Here is a real St. Bernard dog with a barrel around its neck.
Oh, look at that.
So it is a thing. Should we try and find out why?
Yeah, we got time.
The image of a St. Bernard carrying a brandy barrel is a myth stemming from an 1820 painting by Edwin Landseer titled Alpine Mastiffs Reanimating a Distressed Traveller.
Wow.
While associated with rescue work in the Swiss Alps, the dogs never carried alcohol, as alcohol is medically dangerous to victims of hypothermia. So it's like drinking makes you warmer.
Oh my goodness, so I'm completely wrong. It's not British at all. It's like a Swiss thing.
They're Swiss dogs, apparently.
Oh, well, I take back everything. I think I was thinking of bulldog, to be honest. That's more of a British... The XL bully is the statement of the UK. But that's really interesting. So, like, they would be mountain rescue dogs.
Yeah, because they're really big, I guess, and they could, like, pull human beings out of, like, avalanches or whatever.
Wow, damn.
But yeah, I mean, that's a thing, right? Like drinking makes you warmer, but it's not actually good if you're freezing to death, because it actually like dilates your blood vessels, so you feel warmer but you actually get colder quicker.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Here it is. That's like a gnarly painting. That's fantastic.
Oh wow, this is like a fucking well, here's another American versus British pronunciation. Renaissance. I often accidentally say Renaissance because you hear it so much, but Renaissance. It looks like a Renaissance painting of like Greek gods or something, but it's this dog.
It's this guy, he's like grey in the face,
my gosh.
laying like passed out on the floor, and the dogs are like over him.
That's a beautiful painting, man.
It's great.
Do you know what else that reminded me of? Childhood Law Part 2. And you guys probably
about
don't...
Augustus Leopold Egg?
No, we can't get into Augustus Leopold Egg. You guys probably are not interested in any of this already.
But we're going to say it anyway.
But we used to have this book that was called Dogs by Night, I'm pretty sure. Do you remember? Dog's Night. And it was about a gallery. Maybe it was like official merch for the National Gallery or something, but it was about a gallery. And when it closed for the night, all the dogs in the paintings would come alive and play together, and then they all went back to the wrong paintings.
One night they got scared and they all went back in the wrong paintings. And it's about like a school trip that comes to the museum and they laugh at all the paintings.
I think so, but this was very much like, you know, Mum raising us to be artsy and cultured.
I vividly remember like the first time we visited London, we took Dog's Night with us.
Yes.
And Mum got us to go around the museum and try and find the paintings from Dog's Night.
So like there were plenty of really famous paintings that I knew of as a child. So like the main one I'm thinking of is the one that's like the man and the woman and she's in the green dress.
With the dog on the floor.
There's a dog on the floor.
That's the one I was thinking of as well.
And I knew it from Dog's Night.
It's a good book. It's a good book.
Good book.
It's a cute kid's book.
I wonder if it's really poorly photoshopped in retrospect. No, it's probably someone drew it, I'd imagine.
It was drawn, yeah.
Yeah,
I think it's too old to be like Because Photoshop at that point in time was
true.
very rudimentary. I think it was drawn.
God. Imagine even a pre-Photoshop era, now in the world of Gen AI.
Yeah, thank God for that. Thank God for pre-Photoshop, not thank God for Gen AI. I hated Gen AI. But yeah, so I think it's interesting Charlie throwing in a Bernard.
Yeah.
Because it is like, oh yeah, it's really jarring.
But I know that he's made that conscious decision as an actor.
He's decided he's going to say it
He's looked
like
at the
that.
script and gone, well, we say Bernard, so I'm going to say Bernard. Yeah. But yeah, definitely it struck me again. I knew we would go on a massive tangent. Well, I didn't know we'd go on this kind of massive tangent about it, but I knew we would talk about it. But yeah, I think really interesting that they're building the church together, as we've said. And like, literally, wasn't I like 2 episodes ago saying that Echo should be running church and Rose would be in attendance every Sunday?
He means we're going to be doing mass. This is what's going to happen. This is the future I perceive.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to build... Next episode, massive time skip. They've got a big old cathedral made of lava stones.
Yeah, they've found stained glass windows somehow.
Oh, Echo hand painted them all. He crushed up berries and like painted like the Virgin Mary.
It's like they get the bit of glass that John couldn't break in the hatch door.
Yeah.
And they pop that out. He really easily just like punches through it.
Immediately. John's like, you're not going to get that open. And he's like, what, this piece of glass that I'm holding now?
And then he like draws Jesus on it.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I'm perceiving. Next episode's going to open on Sunday morning mass.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think it really clever bringing Echo back in this episode. That's like sort of Bernard centric. As it's Rose and Bernard as a joint one. I think that's fair to say, right?
Yeah, it's fairly even. Also, like none of the flashbacks are just one of them, apart from Rose in the airport.
And when she goes to see Isaac, I guess that's kind of so. It's probably
he's outside in that one.
He's outside,
little girl on crutches.
but it's more from her perspective, isn't it?
I guess it's kind of balanced.
But it is quite balanced.
Mostly from her perspective.
Mostly from her perspective.
But I guess the on-island plotline is like predominantly from Bernard's perspective, so it kind of balances out.
That's a very good point. So I think we're safe to say this is a joint one. Yeah, so when Bernard is like going around and trying to rally people, like it's really interesting that he says like, you know, oh, you spent 48 days trekking with a guy and now he doesn't even talk to you. Like we were just talking about like, yeah, how it's so weird that Anna Lucia and Echo don't seem to be interacting at all. And yeah, it makes sense that Bernard's gone back to Rose, but like in a way it's like we've lost the energy that came from the tail section. Do you know what I mean? For better or for worse, the group has kind of disbanded.
Yeah, it's a really weird thing because you think that they're going to be more with each other than they are. Like, they really split off very quickly.
Yeah.
And, like, I guess I understand on a level it's like, well, like, you know... maybe for Echo, it's like, well, talking to Anna Lucia just reminds him of all of what happened and, like, how terrible it was for him and all of that. But also there is a bit of a, like, where's the solidarity, guys?
Aren't you guys friends?
Like, you guys went through, 48 days of surviving together.
Yeah.
Surely you want to hang out.
You should all be trauma bonded for life. Like,
you should all be, like, celebrating the boxes of cereal together.
Yeah.
Where's the tail section Dharma Initiative feast?
Where's the tail section camaraderie? Yeah.
Yeah, and, like, we even, we got a little Libby moment. Libby and Hurley together in the montage at the end of the episode.
Yes.
Very briefly.
Yes.
And it's like they've all split off and just, like, partnered up with people from the front section.
Yeah. Yeah. Or trioed up or whatever.
Yeah.
But, which is a little unsatisfying, I think.
I do find it very unsatisfying.
Because I was so excited when the tail section got introduced. That's why I really love the beginning of this series. I love the end of this series as well. And I don't feel like there's such a huge disconnect between, like, the beginning and the end. Like, I feel like there's a through line and you can trace it and everything. But if I were to separate them, I think the beginning is so great because it's so much that's new. Like, the tail section and the hatch and everything.
Yeah, and that the energy that comes from the tail section is so new and different, and there's this, like, barbaric thing about them. And I think, like, I do think it's a bit of a detriment that so many of the characters are lost.
Yeah.
Like, I think the fact that it starts with, 23 of them, And then by the end, you literally have 4.
And even though those are both the numbers and you said lost casually in that sentence, I agree.
But like, you know, at the end of the day, that's what, like...
Yeah, they've all gone missing, and like Cindy has so much wasted potential. Like, oh my god, she was so cool.
I know.
She was so cool. I really want to see a Cindy flashback episode, because like, that would be amazing. Like, she's from Australia, what if she knows about this energy?
Yeah. Flashback, so she's like Isaac's daughter or something. But like... And also, like, how, you know, we had this great moment where Jack and Ana Lucia are, like, looking at each other. Jack and Cindy...
Oh my god.
He doesn't even know that she survived the crash.
Oh my god, he literally doesn't. What the fuck? What the fuck, Lost writers?
Lost!
What the fuck?
I don't, like... And I think, like, it's, again, like, the first time around, I perceived the tail section as a much bigger group. And, like, I think in my head, there was, like... also some background extras
who got integrated,
who were part of the group and then integrated, and it was like it was about 9 of them that joined the front section.
Yeah,
in my memory of it, and every single time I watch it, I'm really struck by the fact that there's like barely any of them. And like the other 48 days is so good because you meet all these characters and then you lose them, and it is exciting to like lose Goodwin and to lose Nathan and to have like all of that and the kids and stuff. But it is a detriment, I think, long term.
Yeah.
Because it's like now we have 4 tail section characters who all have their own individual interesting storylines that we're going through.
Yes.
But because we now have to focus on the 4 of them as individuals, we don't get a tail section group energy anymore.
Yeah.
And it's lost immediately. And there's not even any of like, you know, they all just integrate instantly.
Yeah.
You know?
It should be more,
even
it should be more difficult.
Who like... It doesn't take long for people to start trusting her, considering she shot Shannon in the stomach.
Yeah.
Like...
And what happened to Live Together, Die Alone? Like,
Yeah.
I know that they're not... I don't mean that they are alone. What I mean is, when Jack delivers his Live Together, Die Alone speech, he's saying we, as a group of 40-odd people, need to band together. Surely they felt that as a tail section.
You would think.
Even more so. Because of everything that they went through that was so much worse than the main section. Obviously, it was bad. Like, I'm not trying to compare
But
them,
it was
like,
worse.
It was pretty intense.
If we were to compare them, I know which one I'd rather be in.
Yeah. So, why has that not lasted? Why has that
we don't
energy
even
not carried on?
There's not even, like, them talking to Jin and Sawyer more. Because they knew them first. Like, we don't even get that far.
No.
Like, you know, Echo defied Ana Lucia to carry Sawyer into the camp and bring him to Jack and save him. Has he asked about Sawyer's shoulder since?
They've barely even fucking spoken to each other.
Have they even been in a scene together since?
I genuinely think it's a product of the time by which
Too many characters, not enough time.
No, I mean, like, the way in which TV production happened in the early 2000s. Like, if Lost was made now, it would be a full pitch to Netflix or something. They would write out all the episodes as one big continuous chunk and put them all out in one go for people to binge.
I guess because they were doing it as they
were doing it
filmed,
week to
weren't
week,
they?
and like we've watched like a really crazy behind the scenes thing where they're like a day in the life of Lost, basically.
It's like 24 hours in Lost.
And you see everything from people in the writer's room discussing how they're going to write the finale of season 3 to people in Hawaii filming an episode in the middle of season 3 to people in the editing room editing an episode early in season 3 that's going to go out this Saturday. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's all so immediate, which is so really crazy how they managed to pull together this incredible show in that environment. It's huge.
Very impressive, and I think that kind of recognition isn't given to it a lot because of the whole thing of like they never explain anything, the unanswered questions, whatever. But it's like, you gotta remember how quickly they were doing this.
Yes.
And also like...
It's a miracle that they managed to pull it off. And be so consistent. Like, they are consistent with the mystery and the lore. I think there's very few plot holes. There are some. But there's there's very few plot holes, but I think because they are so thinking week to week, they forget about, like, what happened 7 episodes ago.
And, like, for the actors as well to try and behave consistently,
Yeah.
not knowing where your character arc is going,
Yeah.
must be really difficult as well.
Yeah.
To have, like, you know, at the start of the series, I'm sure that, like, the tail section actors were being like, yeah, well, we're this group of, like, you know, ragtag barbarians, whatever. And then it's like, you know, Michelle Rodriguez is handed the script for Collision.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay.
And it's like, guess what? You've had a shower and you put on a nice purple top and you're in love. Your motivation is you're wearing a nice clean purple top now.
And
you
she's
know?
like, cool. And she has to just go with that.
Yeah.
And, like, you know, I don't remember the name of Cynthia something?
Yeah, Westeros, yeah.
Who plays Libby. Like, you know, there's no way when they were filming the other 48 days she knew that Libby was in the psych ward.
No.
So, like, it's so... And you have to, like, forgive them for being a bit inconsistent in that respect.
Yes.
Because it's like, nobody knew where this was going.
Yes.
So, like...
Nobody at any level.
Considering, and I also do think, obviously there are plot holes. Obviously there are big oversights that come from the writers, but I do think a lot of what people... And it is also a change in attitudes towards media from the modern day to when this was made, of that hesitancy, and that, like, it could go either way, how's it gonna go? That, like, I do think they intentionally don't explicitly explain a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I often find, like, a modern audience being like, well, this thing was a plot hole because it wasn't explained. And it's like,
No.
you don't need that. And, like, the example I'm thinking of is, like, so, I'll do this quickly because it might go on for a little bit, but The Pit, which is a very popular show right now, which Ariel hasn't watched it, but I have. It's about a hospital, right? And a lot of people have been saying that people have
Saint
been kind
Sebastian.
of...
It's set in St. Sebastian Hospital in LA.
Unfortunately, no, but I wish it was.
Imagine Jack just pops up in that flashback wig in the background of The Pit.
But people have
Sorry,
been...
guys.
I've seen people online saying that, like, the fandom has kind of been interacting with The Pit like it's Lost. Like, explicitly.
Oh, that's cool.
Because people are trying to be like, ooh, this is gonna be, like... This is how it's gonna be, and it's gonna be a plot twist, and there's gonna be that, and it's like, actually, it's a much more realistic show. And, like, for example... In the first series, a lot of the second half of the first series is about, like, a mass shooting that happens. And there's a doctor that gets, like, fired in the middle of the day, and then he comes back when because they need, like, doctors to, like, bring him back in. And there was so many people going around online being like, he's the shooter.
Oh my god!
He left the hospital and then went, I'll show you, I can be the hero, and then went and shot a bunch of people and they came back to the hospital. This was a genuine popular theory.
That's so dark.
And it's, like, so dark and also so out there.
Yeah.
And, like, the way that people treat the show is like, well, what happened to that patient? What happened to this guy? Why did we never get a follow-through on that? And I'm like, first of all, the show takes place over one day. You're not going to get satisfying resolutions for everything. And also, it's like, you don't need to. You know?
Yeah, because
you
I
don't
think...
need to have, like, at the end of Lost, I wasn't like, but they never explicitly explained what the electromagnetic energy thing was, so actually they're really stupid and they never wrote it properly. Like, they didn't want you to know.
No.
You're supposed to figure it out for yourself, and you're supposed to have your own theories, because that's the fun of it.
Yes. But in a way, The Pit and Lost are complete opposites, because Lost is a mystery thriller, and The Pit is known for being a very realistic drama.
Really realistic.
So, like, the reason they are not doing plot twists like he was the guy who did the shooting is because that's not like real life.
Not how anything would happen in real
life. Whereas
life.
Lost gets criticised for being too unlike
out
real
there.
life. Yes.
And I think people get caught up in an almost, like, murder mystery way of watching things, where, you know, when you, like, sit down to watch, like, a Poirot movie.
Yeah.
And it's like...
At the end of this hour and a half, he's going to deliver
gonna
a big monologue
figure it all out.
and tell us all how the bad guy did it.
And really, like, you know, obviously people do try and figure it out, but really, like, when I watch a murder mystery, I don't do any work to try and figure out who did it, because I'm like... Yeah, but they're going to tell me at the end.
Tell me.
And I think that's the attitude a lot of people take towards everything now. It's like, no, but they'll explain it. And then if they don't explain it, that's bad. And that means it's a bad show and it doesn't explain itself properly.
Yeah.
And so it's badly written. But it's like, you don't need to know.
No. And I think that's certainly the case with a good chunk of Lost's mysteries. I just because if they don't answer something, that doesn't necessarily mean... like, I'm unhappy. It's
Absolutely.
if they answer something in a way that seems inconsistent, or if it feels like they've really left a glaring hole. It's more like, but you didn't do that, but you didn't, you know.
Like,
And in a way, that's good, because, like, this podcast would not exist if they answered every question.
Exactly. And
we,
also, like,
coming to it in the 2020s, would not be so interested in the show. People
was
would not
easy.
be constantly rewatching it. People would not be watching it for the first time now if they'd answered everything and laid it all out perfectly.
and, like, oftentimes the answers are worse than the questions.
Yeah, sometimes
Sometimes it's a really half-hearted explanation.
Yeah, sometimes it's like, okay, fine, you want an answer, here it is. And then it's like, no.
And it's really unsatisfying because they didn't want to answer it, but they
Yeah.
got, like, pressured to.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Or
And,
like, you know, famously, if a show gets cancelled halfway through or something,
They have to rush
they have
an
to
ending.
wrap it up and try and answer all the mysteries, and it's just not as good. That doesn't happen with Lost,
No.
but
But it happens with a lot of shows,
Yeah.
and a lot of, like, stuff nowadays is being, like, cancelled on, like, streaming, despite being really popular. And so then a lot of things are being left with unsatisfying open endings, which, like, totally fair to be upset about, but this is a planned thing, and that you are supposed to have questions.
Yeah.
And, like, also, I always think, like, well, if I have an answer to that question, I don't care that the show didn't answer it, you know? On a level.
it depends how airtight your answer is.
My answers are always airtight.
I'll be the judge of that.
Magic Island. It's the answer to every question.
Please stop.
Where'd they get the axe from? Magic Island.
Don't bring up the axe right now, okay?
That's payback for all the Benson Boone mentions.
Fair enough. So to bring it back to this episode,
Yes.
which comparatively very little lore, so I don't know why we ended up going on that
There was
massive
a bunch
tangent.
of lore.
There was
There's
a
the
bunch
magic
lore.
of the island. But
But yeah, all that to sort of say, like, I think this episode's really nice how it returns to how once the spotlight is put on. I've been talking about how great it is that the spotlight's being put on Rose, but once the spotlight's being put on Bernard, we get to see that he actually does retain a lot of that energy from the tail section, and he's like, nobody here cares about getting rescued because they're all building stuff and they're all settling down.
because they think it's fine to be here.
Yeah, that's not what we had. What we had was we were fighting for our lives every single day,
And
every
that's
single
like,
moment.
what was it Anna Lucia said? You know what's nice about you people? You're not scared enough.
Exactly. And you know, I think that in that first scene, we see that Rose and Bernard have a problematic time on island gap relationship.
It's true.
There's a disconnect there
There is a disconnect.
between
100%.
the way that the tail section have lived and the way the main section have lived.
And it's interesting, and I think this episode really takes it back to a lot of the early energy of the show, in part because of that tail section urgency.
Yeah.
And also because of returning to things like, why were you in Australia? Why were you in the airport? You know, how did John...
How do we get rescued? How do we
Walk again.
communicate
How do we get
to the
rescued?
outside world, signal fires and whatnot? Yeah, totally.
100%. The last thing I wanted to raise about this episode, and I think it has some interesting connotations in terms of, you know, faith, science, belief,
Yeah.
is that Anna Lucia, when left alone in the hatch, continued to push the button.
That's a very good point. Now, why did she do that? I guess because everyone's been shouting about how important it is, so she was like, fine.
Yeah, like, it's really skirted over, because it's the fact that it's, like, she says to John, I pushed your button, and he's like, it's not mine. And that's the point of the conversation.
Yeah.
But it's like, she is one of those practical people, you know? But also it's that thing of, like, Saeed is the practical person. He's like, what's going to happen? But he still fixes the computer, you know? And I think even the most... Because the practical people are probably still going like, yeah, but it probably does keep the electromagnetic energy under control.
Exactly. There's a scientific and a faithful
answer.
Explanation
100%
for the
100%
100% faithful.
100%.
I'm 110% faithful. I'm 108% faithful.
I want you to give me 108%.
Iconic.
I just thought that was interesting
Yeah.
to raise, especially with the amount of, like, you know, faith magic things that have been raised.
So why do you think she carried on pushing it? Just because it made logical sense?
Honestly, I think that she carried on pushing it because she was just like, well, everyone else has been, and
Yeah.
I'm alone in here,
Yeah.
so I gotta keep doing it.
Danger. They shouldn't be alone in there. Have they learned nothing from lockdown? Have 2 people in the hatch at all times.
Because as if she would let Henry out.
No, but you never know.
Hey, she might. What situation?
Not that she would let him out, but like that something could happen in the hatch, like the blast doors could come down or something.
But that's what I mean, like, you know, John is able to trust Henry and be like, you have to go do it. She would be like, stay in there.
Yeah.
I'll deal with this alone.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true.
Let's hope Sawyer needs his bandage changed. You need your bandage changed.
Never not gonna be funny. So, okay, if we're doing final wrapping up things to mention, couple things I wanted to raise. One, that really cool shot. So we had the really cool shot of the wide shot on the beach with Rose and Bernard hugging. We had the cool shot of Anna Lucia panning over to John. And then we had one more, which is Jack in the jungle and that spinning round his head. Yeah. Loved that. That was really fun.
Very good.
And I'm like, how did they do that? Like, because... do they have like a track or something?
Must be.
You know,
it's way too stable to be handheld.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, if you're going like in a straight line and following a character, they'll be on a little track and they'll be sort of like on a cart.
Yeah.
Being pushed forward.
Must be like a round train track.
I guess. But they must be so dizzy.
Yeah.
Anyway. Number 2, when John goes back to redraw the map again after his queen out with Rose... It's on a French book. It's on a page of a book, which is in French. Now, that's interesting to me.
That is interesting.
There's French literature in the hatch.
That is interesting.
Now, I don't really know what to make of that, but...
Something to raise, though.
Yeah.
I also do think it's a fun thing to be like... they don't just have like plain paper, like he's drawing on the books.
Yeah.
Because they don't have paper.
Yeah.
No Dharma Initiative notebook.
No.
Which is weird because you would think there would be one.
Probably, yeah. Dharma Initiative post-it notes, I feel like we've talked about this. And then I think we should talk about the montage.
Yeah.
Because
it's great.
It's a really sort of lovely montage. We've not had one in a while, as I say, and like a lot of the montages in this show are sort of like really sort of lovely, happy little interactions that people have with each other, and it shows people connecting. And I think this one's certainly true of that. Like, it really struck me as like love was the theme.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you've got Rose and Bernard cuddling, you've got Claire and Aaron, you've got Jin and Sun, and Jin, of course, sort of like talking to or like looking at Sun's stomach because he's talking to the baby. I really liked that scene because, like, I think that's the only time Sun is in the episode, ? Unless she's in that... Is she in
She's
that
in
circle?
the initial group, and I think she leaves, like, immediately. Because there is a moment where Bernard's, like, explaining his plan, and I noticed that Jin, like, looked at Sun, and she was kind of like, I'm not bothering with this. I'm not even going to explain to you what he's saying.
But, like, a really, like, interesting shot. It really reminded me of The Whole Truth, and, like... You know, that scene where they're, like, trying to conceive and it's all a bit, like, tense and awkward. Like, she has this... Shirtless Jen, of course. But she has this, like, really sort of, like, blank expression on her face, you know? Mm-hmm. And I was like, there feels like there's a tone going on.
It is interesting, and I think, it's really not in the text of the episode at all, but I think the return of Anna Lucia... around the kind of pregnancy introduction plotline is potentially kind of interesting because of what happened to her, you know, off the island.
Yeah.
And it would have been really, like, intense if she'd been in maternity leave, you know?
She needed to be there. Oh my god.
Because it could have raised some really interesting stuff for Anna Lucia, and it definitely really missed potential. First of all, for her to be, like, protecting the other girls, because I think it's same with Kate, like the women who like spend a lot of time with the main characters who are obviously all men end up sometimes falling down a route of like, I'm like one of the guys, you know? And Kate very explicitly, you know, she's a girl's girl. She's always, like, on the side of the other women.
Yes.
But, like, Anna Lucia hasn't really had her time to shine with that yet.
No, because her introduction to the main section was killing another woman.
Exactly.
So, like...
And so it would have been nice if she could be like, I want to come with you guys and, like, protect you and all of that.
I'm one of the girls.
I'm one of the girls, guys, please.
Yes. But yeah, I definitely think, like, Anna Lucia's pregnancy plotline is wasted potential, which is one of the things that contributes to why I get so annoyed about the pregnancy plotlines on this show, because it feels like they just go, all the women have to have some kind of connection to pregnancy, and it feels kind of arbitrary. Because, like, Anna Lucia's one is like a really sort of, like, tragic moment in her backstory, but then they never go anywhere with it.
And like, the thing that they seem to forget is how that would unite the women with each other.
Yeah.
Like, you know, why do we not get Claire finding out that Sun is pregnant and being like, oh man, the beginning is so difficult, but like, you'll get to a point, whatever.
Yeah.
The way that experience would bond them.
That's so true. We never really get any of that. It's always about the heterosexual couples.
It's always about, like, what is my husband gonna say?
Yeah.
But, like, what, you know, genuinely, it's like, at this point in time, the only woman, like, you know, Rose has never had a pregnancy plotline because she's in her 50s.
And Kate.
And Kate, that's true. But she's Aaron's dad, so, like...
So that counts, yeah. And I guess Shannon never did. But, like, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying? So elsewhere in the montage, we then have Hurley doing the shadow puppets to make Libby laugh. Cute. Gorgeous. And Sawyer feeding Vincent. Now, guys, don't forget about Walt, first of all. Don't forget about Michael. Don't forget there's a fucking dog here. Everyone. And we always forget that Vincent's there.
Yeah.
And then he'll just show up looking adorable.
Looking really cute. And I like that Sawyer is taking care of Vincent as well, because it's like, you know, Sawyer has become very, you know, because of the raft, became a lot more connected to, like, Walt and Michael and wanting to, like, go after Walt and stuff. And now he's looking after Vincent for them. Yes. And now, you know, almost summoned by the montage, we have Michael's return into the show.
Exactly. And there's also obviously a clear parallel between when Anna Lucia tried to isolate herself, Vincent came over and tried to interact with her, and the same thing with Sawyer. Although, as we've established, Sawyer's attempt to isolate himself was incredibly performative.
Abysmal.
And ridiculous, and lasted about 5 minutes.
And the fact that, again, in this episode, when he's like, well, look who comes crawling, and it's like, you're not even isolated from the group anymore. Yeah. Like, stop that.
Like, actually shut up. Anyway.
I feel like that's a bomber note to end on. We just talked about how, like, love, now it's all motivated by love, and now we're, like, telling Sawyer to shut up.
Guys, love.
Peace
how
and
great
love.
Is love, everyone?
Peace and love and dogs.
Love with the mother and child, love between husband and wife, love between a cowboy and a dog.
And that's, like, I think, the meaning of life.
I think so. So thank you all for listening. I'm glad we got there to the meaning of life by the end of the episode.
I'm glad we discovered the meaning of life together. Thank you for coming on this journey with us.
Yeah.
The meaning of life discovered via Puppy in My Pocket.
Yeah. Naturally.
The only way to do it, I think.
Yeah. We'll ruminate on how Winx Club relates.
We'll get back to you on that.
To the meaning of life. And then
once we've watched the show, we'll get back to you on that.
Back. Is it a show?
I think it's a show.
Yeah. Because I was like, I genuinely don't even know.
I think it was like a cartoon.
What Winx Club is. We just have the game.
But we had the game. I think there was probably books, but I think they were books of the show. And then they made that, like, grown-up version that was sucked. Do you remember that? No. They did, like, a Netflix series that was, like, but they're real, normal, live-action teenage girls. And it, like, was really bad, apparently.
Checks out. Thank you all for listening. You can follow us at lostallcaps-podcast or something like that on all the platforms. Please give us a 5-star review if you enjoyed this episode. Leave us a like and a comment and let us know your thoughts on this very cute episode. What's your closing thoughts, Velvet?
I really love this episode. It's another one that, like, whenever I think of S.O.S, I'm like, oh, yeah. You know? Yeah. Every single time. And, like, even watching it back, I was like, there's even more nice moments in it that I forgot about, you know?
Yeah, same here. And it's unfortunate because I'm thinking it's probably not going to rank highly on the ranking.
But that's just because Series 2 is so high quality.
Yeah. Even a filler episode like this is so lovely and sweet and brilliant. And one of my faves. I can't believe it's Rosa Bernard!
And contains some fantastic lore drops.
Yeah. and character moments and montages. It's got everything you need.
And we will see you next week for a decidedly less nice episode.
God. Next week.
2 for the road.
Well, I'm not even going to say anything because I'm going to have so much to say next week. It's
but
like
we're very excited to know what Michael has to say. So we'll go into it with that optimism.
That's your lead in, is it?
That's our optimism for that. We're going with the power of love, and we're going to let the power of love and Michael.
I don't think the power and love of Michael is strong enough to get us through.
It is. We can do this together.
Okay.
And we'll see you next week for Michael's story.
And don't forget to get tickets to Lost All Caps Live.
Yes, which is the week after.
The week after.
Crazy shit.
Can you believe that? 30th of May, Saturday, Cultplex, £5 tickets. Please come along. It's going to be a lot of fun.
We'll see you guys then.
All right, bye.
Bye.
Love you. Love.
Love.